Okay, I have a challenge to put in front of you. When you are developing your hot take on I challenge you to put aside the idea that it's not good enough yet, and as a result, we can relax. Don't think about it that way. I can't, I'm in my basement right now, like rebuilding my setup here, and I'm listening to podcast after podcast in which people are going after these facile assumptions that because the new OpenAI Sora product that creates video on demand is only a minute long, or looks like a parody, or cannot yet produce a Hollywood quality film, that somehow that means it's not going to be able to. It's making me crazy. Also making me crazy is the idea that you wouldn't somehow, that it doesn't really matter because it's not something that people are going to have an emotional connection with the way they do with real actors. I just think all of that is bullshit, frankly, because we know, first of all, and anyone who's been tracking the progression of AI products knows that they're moving so fast and they're going to become so lifelike so quickly. That's one thing. The second thing is the market adapts to that sophistication, and the expectations both of the producers of content and the consumers of content change with the technology. In the same way that years ago I could never have imagined that I'd be talking to my phone to make a point, and that I needed to be typing everything, right? Now the expectation is totally different on the part of both an audience and producers around this stuff. And so I keep hearing people say, well, it's only, people will only really use it for commercials. They won't use it for movies. No, no. That's putting aside the idea that, for instance, it just discounts the whole notion of who pays for movies. The people who finance movies are not going to tolerate spending money on humans if they don't have to. They're going to use these AI tools because they're cheaper to use. That's the whole point. And our expectations will change with them. So anyway, that's all me sort of just falling in love with the problem, and I've written this whole book about that problem and blah, blah, blah. But here's the thing that we need to start thinking about in terms of solutions. It's no longer going to be the case that the technology is going to put natural limits on its deployment. In the past, right, you knew that a human could do X, Y, and Z better, or that there was a certain value to a human doing a thing that a machine could never replace. That's no longer going to be true. In all of these fields, we're going to live in a world in which the only movies we get to watch are remixes of prior movies, because that's all anyone will pay for, is an AI-generated remix of something that comes before, unless there's some sort of rule written now about the inherent value of human creativity. We're going to use AI systems to write bank loans and determine who gets a job and so forth, unless we make rules now that say it is critical for us to protect human discretion in these sorts of situations. We are not going to be able to get anybody on the phone to sort out the problem with your bill, because all of those systems will be automated unless we make a rule now that you have to have human options involved so that you can speak to a human and work out your individual situation. And if we don't do that thing, this technology is going to absolutely take over. There's no other way about it. I wrote a book called The Loop, How AI is Creating a World Without Choices and How to Fight Back, because I really believe the path that we're on leads to a world without choices, in which the automated systems simply remix the past, and that's all we get because that's all anyone will pay for or tolerate. And so, anyway, that's my challenge to you. Just assume that the technology is going to become so good it can do anything, and then think about the rules that you want to apply to them.